curly hair problems, like air dry after you take a shower. Okay, I did. It's everywhere. So my hair's a little crazy today, but we're just gonna roll with it. Hi guys, it's Tori. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be doing my spoiler-filled discussion of Rage of Dragons by Evan Winter, which was our April It's Really Book Club pick of the month. A bunch of you guys read it along with me and it was super fun. I really enjoyed this book. So for anybody who is coming on here who has not read this book, please be aware that there will be spoilers throughout this video. I do have a spoiler-free reading vlog of this book, which I will link in the description below. So if you want to watch just my general opinion of this book, go ahead and check that video out instead. Overall, I'm going to just say I gave this book a 5-star immediately after reading it, and then after I percolated on it for a couple of days, I did drop it down to a 4.5 star. The main character, Tao Solarin, he was really irritating in a lot of places. I'm not gonna lie, I had a hard time with him through most of the book. He was actually most tolerable in the middle, I feel like. But let's start with world building. In this book, Evan Winter creates this very African flavor fantasy world that has dragons in it, but dragons are kind of these like shadow supernatural creatures that are controlled through the use of magic. I really loved how like when you go to Isihogo, which is the spirit realm, that you can be killed there, but nothing's actually happening to your body in reality, and it just basically breaks your mind. I almost wish that we had been able to explore Isihogo a little bit more, and I'm guessing he's going to do that in the next couple of books. I did really like the hierarchy that he had set up with the noble classes and the military. I thought that was all really well done. This is definitely a military-based fantasy, and I thought he did a great job working that into the plot and really making it feel very frontline. The different levels of magic users, I still feel like we didn't get enough to really understand the nuances between all of them. He does explain a little bit in the book what the differences are and what they do, but we don't see a ton of that. I also realize there are 2 more books in the trilogy, so obviously there are things that he's going to explore more as we go farther into the series. I did think it was very interesting how when Tao finally decides that he's going to fight with 2 swords, how this is such a like monumental weird thing for most of his military peers to see. And I thought it goes to show how we kind of get stuck in this one style of something or other, and it takes a little creativity to break us out of that. I don't have a lot more to say about the world building. I think it's really well done, especially for a debut novel. I was incredibly impressed with this book from that perspective because, wow, like what a way to start. The plot line does move very quickly. There is a ton of combat, so if you're not the type of person that likes to read a lot of combat scenes, this is definitely very, very combat heavy, which I personally love, but I know other readers don't always prefer that in their fantasy novels, so just be aware, like, I don't know that that's a big shock. Okay, as far as specifics within the plotline, and this is where it's going to start to get spoilery, so again, just be aware of that. Some of the character deaths, I always really appreciate when an author is not afraid to pull the trigger on characters that they really care about. When we are in war or battle, not everybody's going to make it out alive, and I think too many authors try to add in that secondary character like halfway through the book, and then you're supposed to kind of care about them, and then they get killed, and it's not ever somebody that you've been with since the beginning. We just try to avoid killing off any of the main characters. And I will say, Jayed, I did definitely see coming, and one of the things with the plotline that I think I wanted to address is telling Jayed's death from that perspective was really interesting, and I'm still not sure how I feel about it, to be honest. I do think it would have maybe been a little bit more impactful told from the perspective of Jayed himself. Not necessarily Tao, but I don't know. I wasn't sure how I felt about it. I'm still working on it. I do think that it was a really good way to give a little bit of authenticity and realism to the battle, because seeing it from the eyes of a character who doesn't know Jayed, who hasn't been traveling with him this whole time, doesn't really have any emotional attachment to this character, obviously, at all, was a really cool way to kind of show us what the heat of battle is like on both sides, and how you can have somebody that has this whole history and then the person that, you know, fights and kills them has no concept of who they are or what they've been through or who loves them or anything like that. The other death that did make me sad, and this is one that I think, like, Oyibo, who is the youngest group member in Tao's like main 5 or 6 like guys, you just know, okay? Like, when you have a really young character introduced who idolizes the main character, who's just really like got a big heart, you just know that they're gone. You know, you're just waiting for it. So when he died, I think the way he died really bothered me. The fact that he called for mercy and that the opponent did not give it to him, that was really heartbreaking to me, because watching, and I thought Evan like wrote the scene incredibly well with the emotional side of it, to see Oyibo like kind of jokingly like, oh, mercy, you know, and then realizing, oh my gosh, he's not gonna give it to me, and just that kind of switch in emotion I thought was really well crafted. Tao's revenge basically takes up the tone of the entire story, and even though there is a much larger picture happening, we're so drawn into Tao's revenge within the story that we really aren't allowed to pull away from that at any point, because Tao doesn't allow himself to pull away from that at any point. So, you know, and that to me was, I get it, and I understand the commentary on what revenge will drive us to, and I think that that was really well done. But I will say Tao was definitely making me want to pull my hair out, but stop being an idiot. Moving on to characters. My hair. Kind of already mentioned what I thought of Tao. My favorite part of the characters in this book were honestly, again, because I'm a Motley Crue fanatic, I loved the Motley Crue of Tao and his main like 5 or 6 guys that all fight together. Hadith, I thought it was really cool that Tao, even though he's like the chosen one of the story, he wasn't the leader of their group, and I thought Hadith was a really interesting leader figure. I really liked him a lot. He was very solid, and I appreciated that he was a leader even to Tao when Tao didn't want a leader, and Hadith just was like, hey, nope, I'm still here, and I'm still gonna like try to pull you on the right path. He reminded me a little bit of Clay Cooper from Kings of the Wild, if you've read that, that kind of a character. And then I really liked Udwak, who is the like kind of big brawn character, and he doesn't talk a lot. He's just this giant guy that just smashes everything. I really liked the relationship that grew between him and Tao, and how they had to kind of fight it out before they really became close. Jabari, who is Tao's childhood friend, I don't understand his character, I'm not gonna lie, because in the beginning, I kind of understand the idea that he's this really like kind of stars in the eyes, like I'm gonna be a military guy and it's gonna be great, and then he actually gets into the military and starts fighting and starts seeing all of the death and carnage, and definitely it loses the luster a little bit. It was almost like he changed too much. Like in the beginning he was too solid and too like courageous and like this, I'm gonna fight and I'm gonna protect people, and then at the end it almost felt like he kind of did a 180. Alright, let's talk about Zuri. I felt like most of the time their relationship was told to us, and I didn't feel the sparks. I really didn't. I mean, I understood that they were in love with each other and stuff, but I didn't feel the chemistry between them, I guess. I won't lie. So when Zuri dies at the end, it was also like a very authentic moment. The fact that Tao, you know, saves her from Isihogo and the demons, and then afterwards she dies anyway. Like, that's so true to how war is. I didn't have the same emotional reaction to Zuri's death as I probably should have. I I was more excited, like, oh, this whole like Sayora, who's the queen, making Tao her champion, like, ooh, that's gonna be really cool. And that puts a chasm between him and Kellen, who wants to be the queen's champion himself. And now there's a new woman involved, and Zuri's not in the picture anymore, and all of these things. How is that relationship going to develop and change? I don't know. I thought, you know, Zuri dying I actually was okay with, and I think for the sake of the plot and the story, I think it was a good decision, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the relationships kind of evolving moving forward, because I'm sure, you know, Jabari and Kellen and Tao now are all fairly intimately connected with the queen, so it's going to be very interesting to see how that develops. I'm really interested to see too how it's going to progress with the barbarians who want to absolutely destroy everything because they're really angry now. So yeah, that's kind of my overall spoilery thoughts on the book. Please let me know if you guys read along with me, or if you've read this book before. Please go ahead and put your thoughts down in the comments below, because I'm very interested to hear other people's experiences with this book. I hope you guys enjoyed reading this. It definitely came with a lot of hype, and I think in many ways was very well deserved. So that is my overall spoilery thoughts on Rage of Dragons by Evan Winter. I hope you guys are having a fabulous week, and I will see you in the next video.